screen up, so I'm not sure. Saying we're live, so yeah, maybe we're live. I don't know.
Hello, Gun Nation. I hadn't kicked over yet, but we'll give it a couple of seconds here. It should hopefully get going.
Oh, I just heard a.
Yep, there's that.
All right, we are live. All right, hey everybody, welcome back. This version is the Two Guys Gun Chat. KS will not be with us tonight, as opposed to me never being here. But so Big Johnson, I mean, it's been a while. It feels like forever since I've done one of these because I just been inundated at work. I can't seem to find time to breathe, eat, poop, sleep, and so unfortunately, the chats have had to take a little bit of a back side of this because I just don't have time. So what have you been up to, man?
Working and picking up stuff and getting squared away. That's about it. Yeah, I've told everybody, we all have lives outside of YouTube. I know we want to be here all the time, and sometimes with family and work and stuff, we can't do that. But definitely enjoy the Wednesday night chats. It's always a good time.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah. Anything out of the ordinary in your life happened lately or at all? Or
no, I picked up another set of items that I thought that I was well set up for. However, I wasn't. So I got a new setup of armor and all that good stuff. So I'm good to go there.
You mean like a knight's armor? Or are you going to be a knight in shining armor?
No.
Oh, no. Darn it.
No, body armor. So got some goodies there, and went to, if y'all are needing it, they do ship to friendly states, but it is Row Tactical. I've got them on my Instagram. You can check them out. They will sell to civilians, but they deal with good military and law enforcement and fire department. I really didn't know this, but like our Dallas Fire Department and stuff like that, they actually, a lot of those firemen, wear body armor. Into buildings and stuff like that. So not all of them, but some of them do.
Depends on your neighborhood that you're stationed in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Depends on the areas, but they
warned that myself a few times. It's been a little scary going in some of those places, but I mean, nothing with me is new either. I mean, we just had a big storm blow through here in New York State. And of course, it ravaged New York State because it just seems like anytime there's a wind and rain event here, we can't handle it because New York has forgotten what it is to be tough, even though the governor tells us we're tough every day. So, yeah, a lot of people lost their electricity. People are still out with electricity, trees down everywhere. I lost another tree in my backyard just as it was a mess. But, I mean, it was crazy. It came in, got dark, heavy. I mean, the amount of rain that came down was unbelievable. It was epic. And then all of a sudden these winds came out of nowhere. So the rain ended, but then we were getting probably 50, 60 mile per hour gusts for about an hour.
Damn.
And then all of a sudden it was over. Sun came out, beautiful, 80 degrees, cool, unreal, man.
Wow.
Totally unreal.
Did you see Rangers comment?
No, I did not. What does it say?
This is Big J 1776 got a 509 tactical and a Beretta M9 A3 both for $1,000 today.
That is a great deal, sir.
Real good deal.
And that's amazing because I know that the gun prices have been shooting through the roof because obviously everybody's trying to grab anything and everything they can find. I will say that I was actually I'm guilty of price gouging, I guess. I sold a rifle that I bought and I made about $400 off of it. So it was, I don't feel guilty, I guess, but it's okay. It's all good.
Well, you got to look at it this way. It's kind of like if you just put up a price and people are willing to pay for it. And heck, I've even done that before and got into a bidding war with, had multiple people. So, I mean, if that's what they want, and with the rifle that you sold too, I mean, it's not like they're just on every gun store or every shelf either. So
I know. I just wish I would have bought the other one I saw because they had two of them. So stupid me.
There you go.
But Pistol Pete saying, I saw 1911 on your Instagram and an Archon B. You are correct, sir. So the good news is that 1911 will be coming in very shortly, hopefully by this weekend. It is a Ronin operator from the evil company called Springfield Armory. But what the hell? I'm not a big 1911 guy. Not going to spend the money. And if they're willing to send me things, then yeah, I'm going to review it and I'm going to give it a fair shake. So I'll throw that out there. So if you hate me because of it, that's okay. The Archon Type B, just got that too. I actually just submitted the paperwork in today, so hopefully that'll be in a few weeks. Pretty impressive, man. Out of the box, it's a fairly impressive gun, built very well. A lot of people were complaining about the texturing on the grip. I don't really find that. It actually locks your hand in pretty well. So I'm pretty excited to see that gun operate and see how it does. Now, of course, as long as there's 9mm ammo somewhere, I'll be able to shoot that gun. I do have some, but I don't want to use it all for obvious reasons. But yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's gonna be interesting to see you spend some time with it, before you get us into back and all that, but to spend some time with that 1911 and see, if you get a fondness for 1911. Some people just don't like them. Mm-hmm. Some people, once you shoot it a lot, you get used to it, and you kind of get hooked on it a little bit. But you just can't beat a 1911 trigger. Yeah. I mean, they're really hard.
Yeah, they're excellent.
Yeah,
and I mean, I shot 2 different 1911s. This will be the 3rd one I've had, and I would say the only thing I've always felt about it is that the grip feels a little off to me. Like, it just doesn't feel like it's a good balance in my hand, which obviously can change if you shoot it enough and get used to it. I'm not a big fan of the cocked and locked whole carry thing, that type of thing. This particular 1911, I probably would never carry. It's all steel. I mean, the thing weighs, I think, 57 pounds, and it's a boat anchor, but it's nice. I mean, it's built really well. It's a very nicely built 1911. Hopefully it functions at 45, but I'm kind of excited, man. I mean, like I said, anytime you can get your hand on a gun that's new, that you're not necessarily familiar with, well, I don't care who makes it. I just want to be able to shoot it and see what I think about it and give it a fair shake. So well,
if it's a 1911, it's got to be made in God's caliber, and that's 45. So 2 world wars. Don't forget 2 world wars.
That's true. So Snowman 03 GT is saying video feed keeps going out. If anybody else is experiencing that, let us know. So it looks like Dennis B is saying there's no video. The video is going out and just a black screen. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to go to YouTube and find out what's going on. Well, it could just be I have crappy reception because we have tons of power lines down, but
I'm not noticing anything here.
Me neither. I'm looking at the
some people now are saying they have issues, so all good. Maybe it's just in some areas.
Yeah. So and let me ask you this. Would you say, and I'll even ask the people on the side chat here, would you say that 2020 has been probably the weirdest, most fucked up year that we've had in a long time?
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, honestly, I'm ready to call this year quits. Yeah. Let's just go to 2021. Mm-hmm. Because it's I don't really think anyone could disagree with that. And if they did, they might need to get some different meds. But it's completely, I mean, if you think about it, if you went all the way back to it, we've had all this presidential crap. We've had, gun or firearms issues because of the COVID, because of the looting, rioting. Cities have been burned. I mean, police departments have been jacked up. I mean, it's just protest out the wazoo. Portland is still a nightmare. What has it been like 80 some odd days or something?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, depends who you ask, of course. There are some people who would say all those protests that were out in like Portland and that area, in that neck of the woods, it was peaceful protesting, which obviously is not the case. But then, of course, they blame the heavy-handed response of the government. Well, if you're burning buildings and that's one thing we should talk about. Let's just talk about this briefly. So obviously everybody is always talking about, they're just protesting for protest. Look, your right to protest doesn't interfere with my right to live the way I want. So if you're blocking the road and you're doing all kinds of things that interfere with my freedom to live, to me, that's a problem. Now, of course, some might argue, well, protests are supposed to disrupt things, and I get that. But the disruption that's occurring is not necessarily just a minor disruption. We're talking about chaos in the streets in some of these areas. And I just think it's interesting how people try to, claim that this is the normal aspects of the First Amendment, when in fact it is not.
Yeah, when you're taking it to like city streets where they've been blocked off and they plan for this and they'll let you do your protest and all that. But when you take it to the highways, that's when you become speed bumps. Mm-hmm. Sorry. you have no right to stand in the middle of a freaking highway
Right.
and disrupt people that are either trying to get home to take care of their elderly parents
Sure.
or to their kids or to their job.
Yep.
You know, you got to have some sort of, you know, it's not all about you and it's not all about your opinion. You know, if some people felt that way, they would be there. But no, they're out making a living. They're out doing what they need to do and take care of their families. And you're blocking them from that. And then to start beating on their cars and breaking their windows and dragging them out of cars.
Sure.
Sorry, but your ass would get dropped.
And I think the crazy thing too is usually the reaction of some of these people are like, "Oh my God, how could you run that person over?" Well, there's 50 of you. You're all screaming and shouting, throwing things at my car, banging on my car. Yeah. I feel threatened, so why wouldn't I run you over? I mean, it's just.
Do you think they're going to open up? Do you think those people are going to open up their door and shake their hands? No, they're going to drag them out of there, beat them, or punch them in the face.
Sure,
you know,
it becomes the mob mentality.
Yes, they are there to hurt and injure people. If you proceed through, you know, their homemade, man-made roadblock, yeah, it doesn't. You know, that's why they have brush guards. Sorry.
Yeah. So Art is saying Primary Arms was great. Let me know. They let him know that they had an 11.5 arrow upper in stock. Was able to snag it right before they went out of stock. So that was a good catch for you. Cool. And no, I don't have COVID-19. I just have lots of allergies, man. They're going crazy. So let's see what else we got going on here.
Yeah, and you know that, I mean, Frank brings this up, and I've actually said the same thing. You know, they had the Virginia protest, you know, the armed people, even in Michigan, you know, there were armed people there. They didn't, you know, tear up anything. I mean, they picked up after themselves. They didn't burn down buildings. They didn't, you know, cause a big hoot. I mean, they just did their protest, then they left. I mean, easy peasy.
So C. Kim is asking if anyone knows the best bear spray one can buy for crowd control. I would say any bear spray. It's much more potent and more powerful than you're going to find in pepper spray. And it shoots out like a rocket, man. It's great. So if you find it, just use it.
Well, I have a problem with bear spray. You know, the spray will actually end. The bottle's only so big. So I say bring a fire truck and a fire hose and just make it make it a water park.
That's a lot of fun.
But
anybody ever been hit by a high-powered hose?
Oh yeah,
it hurts like a biatch.
Yeah, when I was on the volunteer fireman department, we used to have to drain them. Like, I can't remember we had to drain them like, what was it, every 3 months or something, just to inspect everything. And man, if you got a really high pressure one, and you know this too, I mean, you get the little fellows behind it, man, they'll be flopping around, all over the place. Yeah.
Sure. And you better hope the engineer likes you, because if not, you're gonna be moving. I know that I can tell you one story. We used to do this thing for school kids. You know, they'd come out in the middle of the summer. It was hot as hell in Florida, you know. So we'd have the fire trucks lined out, and we'd basically use a deck gun, hose down all the kids. They'd be like, ah. So I remember one time I was on the nozzle, and I was on a regular line. So we had to pull the line off the bed and everything. So I'm, you know, just spraying the kids, and all of a sudden the engineer pumped up the pressure. Let me tell you something. I hit this kid so hard in his face with that hose. That kid did a cartwheel and a half, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I put the hose down really quick and like went to the back of the truck. But those are the moments you kind of just have to hide. But
yeah,
you know. But it was funny. So he lived.
You don't want to hurt a kid, but you know, if somebody's tearing up a building or destructing stuff, yeah, they get hit with that hose. They're going to quit destructing stuff. They're going to be on the floor.
Sure. Art's bringing up a good point. He's saying that the 2A rallies were covered like that people were storming capitals, but no violence. Protests are breaking into private party and causing destruction, and it's called peaceful. Yep. And you're right, you know, but that's the whole misdirection. You know, the division of the nation is obviously very clear. Some people have been mentioning, you know, the day of November 4th, things getting back to normal. I don't think that's going to happen. I'll tell you right now, from November 3rd to the 4th, I'm praying that doesn't happen. But I could see chaos in the streets again, man. And it's going to depend on who wins, obviously. You know, that one group of people who are so angry at the world because maybe their mommies didn't love them enough. I could see them, you know, rioting and protesting if Trump wins, no doubt.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that need a hug. So, you know, it's that's what I'm saying. And depending on some of the bigger areas, you know, like the big cities and stuff like that, especially liberal areas, hell, in Texas, we're going to have Austin and all that. So, you don't ever know. That's why to be prepared somewhat, or, to be prepared, period. But for just crazy stuff is not a bad thing at all. You never know what you're going to be dealing with.
Yep. So yeah, that Icarus precision grip, if you guys have that P365 or even like a 320 carry or something like that, they're fantastic. I mean, they do a nice job of really taming, especially at 365 because it's so tiny. But very impressive stuff on them. And their company is getting big, man. They're starting to do a lot of stuff with 6 hour.
Since you brought that up, did you see what SIG is offering now?
Aren't they doing like a P365 carry or something?
No. With their custom shop, you actually can go to your dealer or whomever or order it online, but you order their like performance trigger kit, and it's a whole unit out of a X5 Legion, but it's painted or it's coated in gold.
Oh, I did see that, yeah.
With the gold trigger. And so you buy that, and that's a serialized part. And so you have to, do your get your, filled all that out. But then once you have that, then you come home and you log into their custom shop, and then you can get your frame, you can pick your barrel. They're working with like, I think 6 or 7 different vendors, and one of them is Icarus Precision.
Yeah.
So you can actually get their frame. You can pick all these different slides and barrels and optics or no optics, and custom colors and all this stuff. And then you get 10% off for SIG parts with your coupon. And they're trying to work it maybe with some vendors, but kind of an interesting deal to where you can customize it somewhat and make it your own. So that's a different tactic, I guess, to use.
Right. And I think that's where, obviously SIG has the advantage over a lot of things, whether you like them or not, and whether you trust them or not, I mean, that's up to you. But at the same time, I'm really shocked that, and again, this wasn't SIG's idea, guys. Steyr sued them, and they actually beat them. They won in court. But SIG seems to be the only one that was able to capitalize on the idea of that modularity, and they're just taking off with it. And I wonder if sometimes some of these other gun companies are kicking themselves, saying, "Man, I wish we would have thought about that."
Yeah. Yeah. Wheeled and Well Armed is saying, I'm sure he probably means 2022. He's saying probably ammo could be scarce, and that's what I said. I didn't say that long, but I think it's definitely going to go past the election. Probably 6 months past the election before I think it's going to be coming in and trickling in. I just don't think, and they're going to ask premium prices for it, but it does definitely become a supply and demand thing. So remember all those times ago when I told everybody to load up on ammo, and everybody's like, "You don't need that much ammo." Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing as, everybody who would lecture me on the fact that I should move out of New York State because, my gun rights were being infringed upon. But now when you look at some of these other states that have always been gun-friendly states, you're seeing how everything's turning. Everything's now focusing in those states. So what are you going to do? I mean, are you going to move out of your state? Of course not. You're going to stay and try to fight. You're going to try to push the agenda of the 2A community. But all I can say is good luck. It all boils down to a couple of things. You could have a governor who is like ours, a very liberal, anti-gun, and he doesn't try to hide that either. He is absolutely anti-gun. But you can always have a legislature that is, politically the opposite, which kind of balances. That's the whole point of why we live in this republic, so to speak, is to have some form of counterbalance. The problem is when you go to a state like New York, when the legislature and the executive are in the same party and of the same like of mind, but then not only that, the judiciary, the judges are also a lot like that. There's nothing you can do. You cannot challenge anything unless you get it bumped to a federal court. Yeah. So that's what I would say. I mean, if you guys have governors that are anti-gun, then you have to do everything you can to elect public officials in the legislative branch of that state that are opposite of that. And I think that's where the real struggle is going to be for some of these states, because a lot of these states are turning the opposite direction.
Well, and it also has, needs to start coming down to where, people don't fold like a lawn chair. They actually start fighting back and saying no. I mean, we've got people protesting right now over someone's death. However, people won't protest or throw a fit when all of their rights are stripped away.
Sure.
They just bend over and take it. And that's what sucks, because that person that passed, we don't know all, or we have seen what happened, but that's a one and done. But your rights are, they're once they're gone, they're hard to ever get back, and most places don't ever get them back.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, the solution really is to defund the police completely. That's a joke, people.
Yeah.
So, but other than that,
defund the restaurants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and someone was saying that they thought it was crappy that you have to purchase or something about the SIG thing I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go buy one, but someone was saying that, whenever you have to buy it and then you have to wait for SIG to send you the thing. Supposedly, once you register it, the coupon, I think, comes up to you. I don't think they have to mail it to you. I think Phil Strader was saying that they did, but then I heard that it actually comes to you by computer instantly, supposedly. So I'm not going to, I have no interest in it, but I was just going to share it with somebody.
So Jack's House is asking, did I ever get that base plate? I actually did. I actually posted it on Instagram, a picture of it. It works. So if you do have a 365, the regular size, and you want to get the XL lower, you just need to buy that base plate and it'll go right in. But that's standard for any 365 XL lower. In the case of the Icarus Precision aluminum lower, there was some talk that base plate wouldn't fit the way they put it fit perfectly. No issues at all.
Cool. Is there anything that's sparking your interest that you're seeing? I know you picked up some, but
yeah, I mean, I went kind of crazy, man. I picked up a bunch of different things. I gave you some hints on the other ones. There's some things I'm not going to talk about just yet. But if I look at it's funny, you were talking about the 1911s and all the other stuff. So for a while there, because I made so much money off the sale of that rifle, I was close to getting a Staccato. I was very close. I didn't have enough money, but if I waited another month, I would have had enough. But at the end of the day, I didn't do it. And it wasn't because I didn't want to. It wasn't because, it was too much. I just felt like for me, the purpose shooter that I am, I'm not really into the high-end 1911s or 2011 at this point. I just couldn't see myself blowing that kind of money on just one gun. Maybe it's because I'm greedy. But so I blew my money on like several guns, I guess would be the best way of saying it. But, I still am looking at them. I'm not going to lie. I'm very interested in them, but I just can't see spending that kind of money on them. I just can't do it for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, they're good guns. It just depends on what you want, what you want to use it on or what you decide to get. So,
right. I
was going to say, hell, you were griping about a ST or a CZ or Shadow 2, but all of a sudden you're jumping to a 2011. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, and then Art's saying it was never my thing. It's really not, and I think that's probably what also held me back was the fact that I never have really liked. And you're saying platform, and I agree. I'm just not a 2011 platform person. I'm just not. There are some people who will swear by it, who love them, who whatever. I just am not that type of person. I mean, I think for me, I could have gotten it if I didn't buy the Archon, but I wanted to buy the Archon because I finally said, you know what, it's one I'd always looked at. It's time to get it in and see what it's all about. And I'm kind of excited about it because I feel like it's going to live up to a lot of the hype, but not necessarily all of the hype.
Well, here's what I will say to you as what you've been through, what you've purchased, and I know all of the guns you have and you've gone through. You have had pretty much everything except no single actions. Not very
That's
many.
true. That's very true.
You really don't have experience, so to say, with them. So I don't think if you like them or not, honestly.
True. I think for me, it's more of a head game because of the fact that, I am used to carrying either a striker fired or a double single action. So I don't necessarily have to worry that, I don't know, there's like the kind of that mental block of the cocked and locked thing. I know some people say your gun's not going to go off. It's safe. It's unsafe and all that other stuff. But I think for me, it's more of a mental game than anything else.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, it's super easy when you draw it. You just press it down and use it as a shelf. So once you do that, you do get used to it. However, I'm going to make a prediction right now. Okay.
Sure.
Right here on, the Two Guys Gun Chat. I bet you Now, it probably won't be a 45, but it'll be probably a 9mm. I will bet you that since I've said that, since you start experiencing this 1911 thing, I bet you will have a 1911 or a 2011 probably within, I will say within the next year. It could be sooner.
If I was a betting man, I'd agree with you because again, it's not one that I'm sitting here saying I'm going to carry every day, but it is definitely something I'm growing an interest towards because it is something new. It's a new platform. It's something new. Get yourself kind of, acquainted with it, so to speak, and then build from there. The question is trying to decide, do you go all out and buy that, $2,000 2011, or do you start slow, get a little bit of a lower model that's still quality, like a la Springfield or something like that, and then work up from there. So I haven't decided what yet.
Well, here's some choices. You could get an Ed Brown 1911, but it's still going to be a single stack. You could get a CZ TSO for $1,700. It's going to be a double stack. Now I know you're limited with your round capability, but single action, CZ TSO or 2011 9mm STI. I mean, there's, those are some that I would, suggest, but ultimately get what you want. If you do get an STI, I would definitely get one that's red dot ready, just in case. That way it's already done. If you choose not to shoot it, you just don't have to put the dot on it. Right. But if you start getting more into dots, then you're going to be like, damn, now I got to get it milled. Now I got to do this. So spend the extra money, just get it pre-milled. That way it's factory. And and people have been saying the DWX, and I'm all for that. I just don't know if it's ever going to freaking come. Yeah.
Definitely not this year. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, it's not going to be this year. But, once you shoot, I mean, I've shot 1911s, 2011s and all that, but grew up on 1911s, and they have a fondness in my heart that will never go away. They're very, very hard to beat. And granted, they are heavy and you can carry them. I carried them all the time. It's just getting used to it. It's something you're not used to. But I actually think once you really get it to the range and you spend some time with it, now granted, you're going to be shooting the 45 with the Springfield, so it is going to be different. But when you shoot a 9mm 1911 or 2011, it's pretty much cheating.
Yeah, and I mean, I had the 1911 from Springfield prior. It was the I can't remember what it was. It was something I can't remember, and it was a 9mm. It was great. It was awesome. It just wasn't really for me. You know what I mean? But we'll see. I'm never opposed to trying something new in regards to handguns. So Art Imlay asked this question. As soon as he asked it, the first thing that popped into my mind is exactly what Ohio Gear Guy said. Staccato C2 Duo. That was the one I was looking at. Actually, that was the one I was looking at, and then I saw the price tag and I almost vomited. I was like, nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that yet. No, I'm not there yet. So,
yeah, the Bull Armories too. Bull Armory their guns look really nice. I've seen them on Instagram and stuff. I haven't seen them in my local area, but man, they're making some pretty nice stuff from what I see. And they've got that. It's like a carry pistol. I think it's a small 3.5-inch frame or something with a built-in comp and double stack. And I mean, that's a super interesting gun with a red dot. I bet it would be a hell of a lot of fun to shoot.
And then Art put in something here. Where am I as a red dot guy? I am still not a convert of red dots. Do I shoot them? Yes. Do I wholeheartedly support their use? No. But that's just me. We're all different, I can still see the iron. So until I can't, I'll probably just stick with that.
And you got to remember, I'm a lot older than you, but, I'm really enjoying it. I haven't even looked back once I've told myself, hey, you're going to shoot this, you're going to get used to it and not steer away from it. Once I locked in on it and really said, okay, I'm committed, I never looked back, and I mean, you can have your suppressor sights, as to where you could turn the optic off or turn it down so low you can't see it and still shoot with irons. And I do that periodically.
Yeah. Yep.
But, so if you want, you can have suppressor sights and
it's definitely fun to shoot with because you begin to see, and even with this like shaky hands like mine, it still works very, very well, and it just takes a little bit more concentration for me at least. But at the same time, like I said, I'm just not fully on board with it yet. I don't know if I'm ever going to be unless I'm forced to. Yeah. But do I feel comfortable? I do to an extent. And like I always said, how many of these self-defense shoots do the people really see? Well, I remember looking through the iron sights and shooting them on target. It's usually a pull and shoot,
Yeah.
So, hopefully I'm never in that situation. So Kim is saying maybe I'll get that stimulus check and then I can snag myself a duo. I have yet to see one of those stimulus checks. I do not qualify, sir. I'm rich, didn't you know? That's all this YouTube bank I'm making.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that the more and more and more guns go, and I wouldn't be surprised if, and this is one reason I even thought about this, the reason that and I know that because of the COVID, we haven't seen the DWX. I wonder in the back of their mind if they're going to go ahead and mill them, or say we're going to offer, optic slides and non-optic slides. I'm just wondering if they're kind of revamping that whole thing and maybe dump out a DWX.
I don't even think it's that. I just think they can't produce.
No, I know that.
I think because of all the shutdowns and the lack of supplies, probably.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But what I'm saying, I'm wondering now if they're thinking about it and they're saying, hey, you know what? This is the perfect opportunity to go ahead and add an optic to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, you can't shoot single action in carry optics, but this would be the perfect time to go ahead and throw one on there. And if you're going to shoot it in production or whatever, or limited, I'm sorry, you would at least have the plate where it's already mounted.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Yeah, so the Shadow Systems is coming this week. So finally, it's been like I think 3 months or something. It's like some crazy time. So that's coming in this week. Hopefully I'll have it by the weekend, and then I've got to procure some ammo out of my stash and just take it out. So that gun I'm really excited about, because that'll probably replace my Glock 19 permanently at some point.
Yeah. Hello, TN Star. He's just dropping in to say hi.
Hello.
Aaron Neumeyer is saying that he shot his neighbor's Colt Gold Cup a few weeks ago, and they're really nice. They are nice. They're super nice.
I've seen a few of those on Gunbroker.
Yeah, they're not cheap, but they're super nice pistols. Yeah. Definitely one I would keep. But yeah, there's all kinds of, and that's another thing. I own revolvers. I really don't shoot them anymore. I shot them a lot when I was younger. But, if I had the opportunity to get a different revolver that I would actually probably carry it and shoot it, would be a Korth. Those things are freaking expensive as hell, though. But
did you just say a Korth?
Korth.
Yes, I know somebody also who likes Korths quite a bit, but he also likes Chiappas.
Yeah. No, Korths are, no, I'm talking about not the, well, there's different Korths, but this sucker's like the 8-inch barrel with all the Picatinny rails, and it's just freaking insane. Of course, the one that I want is I think it's like $9,000. But
that's it. Drop in a bucket.
Yeah, no lie. Yeah, a couple of STIs, no big deal. But it's a freaking beast. But man, that thing would be fun as hell. I got to play with it and finger bang it, but I was like, wow, I think it'd be fun as hell to shoot. You could put a dot on it and just go to town with it immediately.
Now, let me ask you this: by you in your neck of the woods, what is the gun inventory looking at local stores? Like, what are you looking at?
Texas Gun Experience has actually pretty good inventory. They're getting it in. What's funny, it's not funny, but Glocks, they have a hard time keeping them. They can't even get them. Smith & Wesson, they can't get those either. They've got a lot of the high-end guns. As far as, they've got a lot of Springfields. They're still selling, but, they're getting them, a lot of them. A lot of revolvers, rifles, ARs are coming and going. A lot of PCC type carbines. But, I've got gun stores that can that have a lot of inventory, but it's Glocks and Smith & Wesson. It's the better or the lower priced pistols are definitely in demand.
Yeah.
And there's people coming in and they don't just buy like one Glock, they buy 2 Glocks,
right.
So multiple gun purchases on one ticket. I'm seeing a lot of that.
Well, by us here, one of my local shops, the one I normally go to, he can't get his hands on anything. He's a smaller guy, smaller shop. So it's been so bad for him in regards to inventory that he's actually put out on the top shelf like some old single action revolvers, man. No long guns. All long guns are gone because obviously in New York State, it's a heck of a lot easier to get a long gun than it is a pistol. So, I haven't seen them, I haven't seen them at all. And it's weird. It's really weird because, all these people who always said, oh, we don't need guns. We don't need guns. Well, okay. Why are you buying them? Yeah. Don't buy them then. Just let them sit there. They're deadly and they're unsafe and you should not own them.
A lot of people are just buying whatever they can get. I've had 2 Easy 9 without the safeties on order for 4 months now. Not for myself. One is for my mother-in-law, and then one is for her best friend that want to own their first guns. And so I'd recommended those, and we're waiting for them to come in. And I mean, they got one the other day. They called me and said, did you want the safety or no safety? And this one had the safety. And I was like, no, we don't want the safety because it already has freaking other safeties on it. But yeah, they still hadn't gotten them in. And it's literally been 4 months. Yeah.
So Art, we kind of addressed this a little bit, and I am guilty of it. I did it myself. I used to feel like you shouldn't do it, but then I saw I hate to say it, the greed got the better of me, and I did it. And you know what? I don't feel necessarily guilty about it. I think it's, do I think it's wrong? I don't think it's wrong, because a lot of times what you're seeing is the people who are buying these guns in a panic are the same people who were always anti-gun in the first place. So if they were dumb enough to support that kind of crap, and now they're dumb enough to pay those types of prices, tough shit. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Next time, flex your rights, know your rights, and instead of always being anti, maybe support it. And now that you are feeling that pinch of nervousness because of what you're seeing. So, I just wonder, should you feel bad? No. And it's kind of like one of those things, like, for example, I sold one of my older shotguns to a lady who never had guns before or whatever. Very nice lady, she wanted something for her home. So I had an old shotgun sitting around, and I could have probably sold the shotgun for probably $600 easy, because you can't find them anywhere. And I didn't. I sold it for about, I think, $35 or $40 more than what I bought it for. And I don't think that was unfair at all, but I think it also depends on what you're looking at and who you're doing it to. I hate to say it that way, but it's sort of true.
And, my neighbor, she reached out to us, and she knows I'm a gun person. And she said, I need ammo for my defensive pistol. She has a little 380 and didn't have any ammo and couldn't find any. She had been checking and going to places, and they were all out of it. And she happened to ask me, do you have any 380 ammo? And I was like, how much do you need? And I don't even own a 380. And so I hooked her up, and I sold it to her for exactly what I paid for it. I didn't mark it up. I didn't do any of that because, she's a super nice lady. And, I mean, I probably could have got a lot more for it, but I'm just,
Yeah. And I think that's where Guy Comet's question was, is it okay to do that with ammo? That's a little bit of a different story for me. And the reason why I think that is because people who own guns have ammo, and they need ammo. They need the ammo to, practice. They need ammo to carry. So it isn't like this, all of a sudden, this big surge for ammo was there. And now it is, because now you have all these new gun owners, but I don't necessarily look at it the same way in regards to ammo, because we all need ammo. Like, for example, Big Johnson might want to buy 10,000 rounds because he can. Now he can't find that, so he's suffering. So why would you charge more for a guy who's always carried guns, who's had guns his entire life, and just wants to be able to have enough ammo to do whatever it is that he's doing? I don't know if I feel the same way about that.
Well, it's also capitalism too. I'm all for people making profit. I'm not for price gouging. But if you want to, like, if you bought it at, the lower pricing and you want to mark it up to now pricing or whatever, hey, do what you want to do. It's your stuff. Right. Who are we to tell you what to do? But, I just, if it, and I've had a bunch of people hitting me up. Hey man, I need 9mm ammo. Will you sell me some? Will you give me some? And I'm like, what? And again, like I've said, these are some of the people that are like, why do you have so much ammo? So I'm just like, hey man, and I might give them a link or something to where I know they can get it. And I've done that very recently, a lot of times. Matter of fact, some of these people are probably on the chat. I try to help out everybody I can, but I'm not just going to give my stuff to you, especially if you haven't prepped for something like this.
Could you do me a favor? Could you send me 1,000 rounds of 9mm, please?
Are we friends?
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, well, I'll give you a really good price on it.
I was hoping free. What the hell, man?
No, there's no
kind of goddamn friend of you.
Yeah, yeah. No, I didn't. I don't file taxes on you, so you're out.
Well, I figure the next time I go to the range to I got all these guns coming in. They're all 9mm, so I figure I'm just going to shoot 20 rounds per gun, and just lie to all of you and say I shot 500 rounds through them. I mean, who cares?
See, and this brings up another point. People laughed at me when I told them I have I think I've got 4 or 5 22s. People laughed at me. Why the hell do you have a 22? And I'm going to say this, and I've said it before, and I don't, yell about it, but people train with airsoft, or they'll train with, the little CO2 cartridges and do all this. Okay. 22 is better to train with. I don't care what you say. It's actually more realistic, and it's better than just plain CO2 guns. So why would you not have, and, with the Glock 44, I know it's not a super, matter of fact, well, Uncle Dan, he hasn't had any problems with his, and he shot the crap out of it. But, something like that, where it's the size of your carry gun, if you carry a Glock 19 or something like that, why would you not have a 22? And all the people that said, why do you have so much damn 22 ammo? This is the reason I have it. I mean, I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds of 22. So it's fun as hell to shoot if you haven't shot one. And I think everybody should own a 22 pistol and a 22 rifle. They're just fun as shit. And also training people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're super easy to shoot. And they're awesome suppressed. I mean, it's literally like shooting a BB gun. You can't even hear it, or you can, but you know what I mean? I can't believe that people don't invest in 22, but they'll go buy a $400 realistic SIG, airsoft gun.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
You could buy a 22 for $400.
Right.
And it shoots real bullets. So if you absolutely had to live on the land and eat squirrels and shoot rabbits and stuff like that, that's useful. Good luck with it with a airsoft gun.
I'll just hunt with a knife.
Yeah, there you go. Carry it in your mouth.
That's right. Jump from a tree and grab them.
Yeah.
So let me think. What else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So, I got a couple of things coming out soon. I've been working on this one video. It's just been so crazy. I haven't done anything. I just don't have time. I literally have no time. So I got the Ranger Point Precision handguard for my stainless Marlin. Finally put it on. Long story short, I put it on, lost the damn screw. Apparently my floor that I'm in this room here, it's a black hole. So anything that falls on the floor, it's gone, vanishes. It's either that or there's a rat in here somewhere that takes all my shit. So I couldn't find the damn screw. So I had to call him and say, look, man, I'm sorry. I'm a moron. I lost the screw. Could you send me a new one? Of course, they were awesome because they are awesome people there. And I got it on. It fitted it perfectly. No movement, nothing. It looks real good. And so that's going to be coming out soon because it's just, I always felt like, if you got a lever action rifle, yes, it's kind of an antiquated means of an arm, so to speak. But at the same time, if you can give it a little bit more of a modern use, I think it actually ups its game a little bit. Yes, it doesn't have the capacity of modern rifles, maybe not as user friendly in regards to movement, but man, I'll tell you, it makes a huge difference to have an M-LOK rail up front. Put anything on there. So it is pretty cool. I'd say it's a competitor to Midwest Industries, kind of different of the two. One's a little rounder, more AR-15-ish, which would be the Midwest Industries. This one is kind of got that modern but yet classic look because it's squared. It's squared without sharp edges. So it's actually a really nice thing they did and put together. And the mounting system is fantastic. Super easy to do.
But out of those two rails, do you know which one I would prefer and why?
You are going to probably tell me the AR-15 rail. No. Why the other one? The
rail you have, because it's flat and there's nothing on a lever gun. I mean, the good thing on a lever gun, and just like a PRS long rifle, with that flat bottom, you can put it up on a barricade and you get levelness. It doesn't rotate on you as much. So you could actually put that up on a barricade if you were holding something in your left hand.
That is
and you
true.
could shoot it. You could shoot it just like that, and that's what I really love about those handguards.
Yeah. And And the way they did it too is they actually almost recessed a part of the top portion of the hand guard so your fingers fit right in there, and it'll dissipate some of the heat the way they cut it. So it's actually pretty. It is a pretty damn good job, and it's aluminum. The other one they had was polymer, so this one's aluminum. So you know, it just feels right, which is great, and especially if you like those lever actions like I do, it's a no-brainer to me.
And also, what I was going to say is, if you want to put a bipod on it, it's much better to put it on a flat bottom. Keeps it a lot more level.
So G23 is asking us, and we kind of talked about this briefly, is what's our opinion on the P320 FCU only and SIG bringing other companies into the fold? Long story short, I think it's a good idea, just because it gives you options. And I think, again, from a marketing perspective, it's brilliant. It really is, because SIG is still making money off of the FCU. And then, of course, these other companies that are now coming into the fold will actually get a piece of that pie as well. Plus, it's giving you different options. You know, you see a lot of this, the lowers for Glocks and all this other stuff. The SIG makes it even easier by just having that, you know, the modularity of the trigger control unit. I just think it's brilliant. But and I'm not a SIG fanboy, but I think it's brilliant.
I'm not a SIG fanboy at all, but I think it's really good to help other companies get into the fold like that, to, you know, help support them and support a product. And I think it's going to open up this, if this works out and is well accepted, I could see other companies doing this too, or other manufacturers, you know, partnering up. And I know they have in the past, but with a conglomerate of people, to where you can really just make it your own. And that's why I like customizing guns. So if you could do it and still keep you know, your warranty or whatever you want to say, and have different options, and I think that's a really good thing to have.
Right. And, you know, from a business perspective, on these smaller companies that are joining the fold, I mean, if it was me, I'd be looking for a huge payday and selling that shit. I'd be like, here you go. Here's my company. I want $10 million or something like that.
Yeah. But, and if you know, they see that certain companies like do really, really well with this, it could be one buying another, or SIG buying one. You never know.
Sure.
But, you know, it just takes away, you know, like when you buy just a SIG, you're just buying a SIG. I mean, but being able to buy the fire control unit with other parts and just kind of make it your own. I mean, and the good thing is, you know, you already have the serialized parts, so all the rest of the crap just comes to the door. You don't have to go and FFL it and do all that other mess. You know, that's why it's really a brilliant setup.
Yeah, this is the one that I've tried to convince them to do. I'm hoping at some point they will, because that lower on the RXP would be friggin' awesome. The RXP is a great pistol, but just having that extra weight, because I'll be honest, is for a good pistol, it's snappy. It's a little snappy, that RXP. It's a little bit tiny in that slide there, but I think having that extra weight in the bottom would help quite a bit. And again, I think it looks nice. I think it feels nice, and that would be awesome if they did it. So hopefully soon.
You could pack it with Pookie, make it heavier. Yeah, and I was going to talk about this. I actually do have this written down. What do you think about Langdon Tactical finally coming out with the optics for the Beretta?
Well, for me, it's a
Yeah. Well, you're not
you
an
know,
optics guy.
it's not even that. Like, you know, I don't really know how I feel about it. First off, I mean, why would you, this is the one thing I would always say, you know, Langdon Tactical, I'm sure they do all the polishing and all that other great stuff, but why wouldn't you just buy one of these guns and do it all yourself? The 92 series is such an easy series gun to pull apart, take down, and just rip everything out, and then do everything on your own. Yeah, sure, maybe they have some special mojo, but I don't know, man. I don't know how. To me, it's not a big deal.
I'm talking about for the milling of the plate.
Yeah, I don't think that's a big. I really don't. I don't see that as being a huge deal.
Put it this way. Ernest knows Beretta, I mean, probably better than Beretta. So I think that this is a definite win. Now, for the gun, I wish they had a longer grip version, because the 92 is just too small for me. I've shot plenty of them and owned them. Not an LTT, but I've shot the LTT. I've shot the Wilson Combat. I've shot the 92X and just the standard Beretta. I just want a longer grip on that gun. And the plain Jane Beretta 92, it's nothing to write home about. Now, when you get into the Wilson Combats and you get into the LTTs, yes, nice triggers, all that good stuff, and of course the 92X. But to have that in an optic, that's going to be, I mean, I already know people have gotten it. I know someone who has it, so I'll be shooting his soon. You know, I think it's exciting for 92 Beretta fans. because that's a gun you could carry too easily. So, you know, it's just, I just think it's a cool thing that they finally came out with it. Cause I kept saying, you know, from way back on the chats, I was like, man, when somebody puts an optic on it without having to use the big, you know, plate and all that stuff, I think it's going to be a pretty cool thing. So,
yeah. And I mean, you know, to me, the 92X series, the new series, obviously with the Vertec grip, you could have done the M9A3 in that. You know, to me, that would be a nice thing to see. I know a lot of people want to drop the decocking safety lever off the slide and put it on the frame, which I think, honestly, it would be more exciting for me to see that than the red dot. I'll be honest with you. Because to me,
you can on the 92X, you can.
Right, but not everybody's going to buy that gun because
it's
not a carryable firearm, in my opinion. But at the same time, they would have done that on the new 92X. And instead of just that one, do it on all of them. Then to me, that's more exciting because you're now, oh, okay, great. Now they're really listening to what we really want. Then maybe go that next step and say, okay, we're going to start milling an optic for it and stuff. But, you know, I don't know. Like for me, I think Beretta is getting and I like the APX. I thought the Apex is a fantastic handgun, but I also think Beretta is getting a little boring. I'll be honest with you. I think it's getting a little boring.
And I think with the Langdon Tactical, you know, he's refreshing it a little bit, or at least bringing something different to it. And I think it's going to appeal to 92 owners that currently have a gun, maybe to get it milled, because it's really not that expensive when he does it if you send your slide in, or just to buy the whole gun from him already milled. So I think some people that were thinking about it, but they wanted that option, now they're going to buy it or have bought it. And if they own one, they're going to send it in and have it done. But I think it's cool just to have another option out there for it. So
the who said that? I just lost it. I just got rid of somebody who was just saying stupid shit. And, you know, wrong chat, guys.
If you guys, 5 of them.
Yeah, if you guys are here on this chat and you're going to say stupid shit, you're getting booted. You know what? I don't want to hear. We'll give everybody a chance to speak. Wrong fucking channel. Period. Thank you. That's all I'm going to say. So Nick is saying that the slide mounted, and I just lost the comment. There it is. The slide mounted safety is great. It's up and out of the way. And you're right. You know, I think a lot of people have been saying the fact that, you know, there's always that chance where you could put it in decocker safe mode and then you go to shoot it. I mean, I don't know how that would ever have happened, but maybe it has. I don't know. And I think
to put it into
remember, if it's not a G, it doesn't decock automatically. So you decock it and it goes in the safe. So some people were concerned that if you have it ready to go, some people may not be checking to put it out of safe mode, maybe accidental hitting it. I mean, I've never seen that. I've never, ever seen that. And one of the things that I've noticed, especially on the M9A3, is that the serrations on the slide are right in front of that. You know, could your hand slip? Maybe, I guess. But, you know, I think that's been one complaint.
I hated it. But, you know, I hate anything that's in my finger's way, too. But yes, Kathleen's asking about the Holosun 507 CV2. Yeah, I would say get it. You know, if you can find it.
Get an old one.
Well, they're much cheaper. Hell, I saw a 407, you know, just the plain Jane, the not version 2, going for $199 now. So that's a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
But it only gives you the single dot, does not give you the 3 different reticles.
Yeah, let's be honest. I mean, how many times do you really switch that reticle anyway?
Actually, you know, when I first got mine, I was only shooting the dot. Now I actually do. I switch back and forth, and I like the circle. You know,
I like the circle dot. I'm a big fan of that circle dot.
I like the big circle without the dot. I'm finding that I really like that because, man, when you pull that thing up, it's just right there, and you can put it right on the center of a chest, and you can just go to town if you had to.
Let's see. So Nick is saying if you have a very weak little soy boy grip, it could slide off the serrations and hit the safety. For men, it's not a problem. You'd be surprised. It might be a problem for some men too. Let's see. And Art talked about the Swamp Fox. I had a Swamp Fox for a while. I actually wound up removing it from my stash. I had a couple of problems with it. You know, it was a good optic. I think it's a very good beginner optic, but not anything I would carry every day. The battery dies. I had, I think, 3 replacement batteries and they all died. So I sent it back. And then once I got it back, I actually wound up selling it because I just was like, I was already turned off at that point. But that was my experience with it.
Yeah, I've heard that about those too.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're at 8:55. So we're going to be winding this down here in a couple of minutes. So first off, obviously we appreciate everybody coming in. We like to have as many new people to this chat as possible. So if you have any friends or family that like you, turn them on to the chat. However, one thing we don't tolerate is people just coming in and saying stupid things about either you guys, us, the chat, guns in general. And we're just not going to tolerate it. It's just stupid. You're wasting your time and you're wasting our time. So I just want to throw that disclaimer out there, but we do appreciate everybody who does come in and obviously these great comments on the side. And that's what makes these chats as good as they are. Because we obviously can't have these, because if it did, we'd probably bore the shit out of each other for an hour if it was just me and Big Johnson. So we always make it as interesting as possible. So what do you have coming up in the, I guess, soon time?
Soon time. I have some stuff I'm going to be putting on. I've got, testing some optics, and I've got some stuff I'm going to be putting on some optics. I have something that failed right out of the box, brand spanking new, but their customer service is awesome. So I've already reached out to them. But the day I bought it, the next day I was changing the spacer plate, and the screw was in there. I think they used freaking rock set on it, and it's a screw that's designed to be removed. And when I called them, they were like, "Oh, yeah, we think they used too much." And we're like, "Yeah, you think?" Because I broke 3 Snap-on Torx T10 bits, literally snapped the heads off of them, and that's never happened. And I've worked on some heavy-duty stuff. So I've got that being replaced, and I'm going to be doing some shooting this week, and I still have a couple of new things that nobody has seen. But I wanted to get some time behind them before I talked about them, and that's kind of what I have coming up. And also some suppressors. I'll be shooting my suppressors now that I've gotten them out of jail. So that's kind of what I have coming up. And check us out on Instagram, because he and I both put up stuff that we don't even talk about on YouTube.
Yeah, apparently I am The Rock's brother as well as Jason Momoa's cousin.
So, I saw your little homemade movie.
Those made me laugh my ass off. I'm not gonna lie.
They were pretty funny.
It's an app, man. I got it on my phone. I don't even know how I found it, and I said, let me try this out, and it's just hilarious. You basically take a picture of your face and then you put it over a body, and boom, and it works pretty well. But god damn, I look like The Rock. Come on, I do. I'm pretty jacked. I mean, let's be honest.
You remind me of that cartoon of what's that Samoan, the little cartoon? It was in those movies.
Oh, that's great. That's Samoan guy. Let's see. What was I going to say? Okay, so gun-wise, what I have coming up? Well, obviously, I have the Shadow Systems coming up. I've got the 1911, the Ronin operator. I'm going to be doing the video. I'm going to get that done hopefully tomorrow for the Ranger Point Precision Handguard. And then I got a couple other firearms coming my way, which I'm kind of excited about. One is none of them are like brand new, like, oh man, they just came out on the market. I mean, they were kind of revisits. One's a revisit with a little bit of a newer modification, which I think you know which one I'm talking about. And then I'll just throw one out there. I did wind up picking up a Glock 45 because I did want to pick up a 19X again, but obviously those are very scarce. So I wound up getting a 45 at my local, and I'm kind of excited about that as well.
You get the MOS?
No, I didn't. He didn't have it. He didn't have it available.
I didn't know if it happened to be that brand or that one or not.
Yep. And then I got the Archon, obviously. So, I think out of all of them, I'm most excited about all of them. Really excited about the Shadow Systems and really excited about the Archon. The Glock 45, well, it's a 45 and it's going to shoot like a 19X. So what's the excitement there? But that's really about it. Just kind of trying to do some things, and hopefully my schedule will actually get better over time, but I don't think so. And other than that, it's just been a hell of a year, and hopefully it ends in a positive note, because I'm getting kind of run down by it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely tiring.
Yep, that's for sure. So, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. We will see you back here Wednesday night. Remember, tell your friends, if they like you, to watch this channel and Big Johnson channel and everybody else's channel who's out there that has one, and including watching these chats. Maybe one day we'll actually break 150. But we're certainly not going to beg. If you guys want to join us, we always appreciate it, though. So have a great night, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone. Carry on.